In this video, I'm going to be talking about the importance of a character like Zenitsu, because without him, Demon Slayer would fall flat on its face, with humor tone balancing like it did with Attack on Titan. Okay, jokes aside, but I get that it's supposed to be a different story entirely, and that it's supposed to be super serious, but without some humor to lift the tension, it wouldn't be as entertaining as something like Death Note, especially like L. But putting all that aside, I shall be criticizing only the story because that's all I'm good at. For anyone rewatching the show again, do you remember how depressing and sad the show was? I mean, there were a few moments it tried to be funny, but it never lifted off the tension high enough for it to directly contribute or bounce, so that the viewer can take a breath of fresh air, giggle, and allow the characters to breathe for a little bit, have a fun exchange of dialogue to understand. Simply put, going down this path will make the show very slow and stressful. That is until my boy Zenitsu comes in to the frame. Zenitsu is like a perfect character to pick up the show from like the beginning, from the second or third act. I'm not keeping track of this entirely, but the main reason why this series progresses so well from this point on is because it's able to introduce many side characters along the way. I say side characters, but they become main characters along the side. But I love how the fact they were introduced very early on, like Tanjiro passing the test, and these characters were introduced as sort of like foreshadowing, like these guys could be relevant. And I also love the fact that the bird Zenitsu gets right off the bat is a sparrow. They're known for their hypersexuality and their lustful nature. I mean, now knowing this, it makes perfect sense why this bird gets tagged along with Zenitsu, especially with them being allowed. And it's like one of the biggest introductions is just be it's just him begging to have or to marry someone's fiance. Like there are no limits to this man's horniness. Also, for whatever reason, this guy is like in debt for child slavery. I don't know what's going on here, but putting that aside, he's a total coward when it comes to fighting. That is hilarious, and in direct contrast to Tanjiro, who's fighting with a purpose, turning his sister back to a human, but we all know that story. Well, Zenitsu just wants to get laid and pay off debt. But when things start to get serious, and when he's confronted with a situation like a demon kidnapping a child, my boy Zenitsu is the one asking the child hostage, begging the kid to save his life. He's legit holding on to this kid for dear life. I love him so much. Tanjiro is like any normal human, where he's like, I'm a superhero. I'm gonna save this kid because that demon will eat that child, and that's what I'm supposed to do. It sounds heroic here, but my point here is that Tanjiro has like a strong attachment to those kids because it reminds him of his like three siblings that just got cut off. Zenitsu, he literally had no one besides his grandpa, and he's just like, yeah, it's like hard for him to get attached to them, but he still wants to save them at the end of the day. He's a true hero. Also, how many 13-year-olds can watch this video and relate to Tanjiro's situation? Zenitsu, on the other hand, is nothing like Tanjiro. He's doing everything like the complete opposite. Like in his humanly power, he is trying to keep the child safe by clinging onto them, making sure nothing happens to them, and getting them out of the damn area. This is preventing him and the child from getting hurt while still shitting bricks. The kid, on the other hand, is bullying my poor boy Zenitsu. But Zenitsu is keeping the kid from harm's way instead of running towards the demon and fighting him head on. I mean, literally, when Tanjiro has the chance to fight the demon, he announces his hidden presence. And when the demon is distracted, he's just like, I'm here, boy, let's fight. Inosuke, on the other hand, is like trying to grow stronger for his own selfish reasons, like one-shotting anything. Like, he's literally stepping on a small child as footing. Even attacks Tanjiro for like the thrill of becoming stronger. Zenitsu, my boy, he doesn't care about this stuff. He just wants to be a true hero, from preventing this kid from getting traumatized more than he already has. It's funny to me how Zenitsu is running his mouth during this whole series while being chased by a lizard human demon that it directly attacks with his tongue. Zenitsu even tries to sacrifice himself for the child's safety, but passes out while seeing his ugly ass face. After which, no questions asked, the demon attacks, but unconscious Zenitsu just takes him out effectively and quickly. Best foreshadowing ever, no questions asked. I mean, like, this guy's the perfect hero. He kills the enemy off instantly with overwhelming force, with no chance to cause harm to himself or the child. Tanjiro and Inosuke, on the other hand, they just take their time, bro. They just love watching the child suffer with them. That's how you create relatability. Oh yeah, just to prove the point that Zenitsu is actually a good guy, he was listening to Tanjiro and he was like, you're a good guy. And then, like, he genuinely is a good person because he's seen protecting Nezuki, his little sister. He doesn't even know what's inside the box and he's just protecting it, avoiding it from coming into direct sun. It's nothing flashy, but it's something heroic. Tanjiro is going out of the way to save his children, while so is Zenitsu, and that might be part of a stretch, but I've gone my whole way out. This is just his introduction, by the way. And this is just further proof that his conscious desire to save other people, despite being a horny bastard. To me, by far, Zenitsu, most heroic, most humane person in the whole series. Unlike Tanjiro, who's fighting many demons, showing sympathy for the enemy. Like, why? How? I get it, you want to stand out apart from other shonen, but stop. You're not Goku. A little fun little detail is that Zenitsu can hear people's footsteps. Tanjiro can smell other people. Inosuke can feel. Somebody has the eye, somebody has the taste. 5 senses, beautiful. And it's beautiful how it makes no sense related to their element at all. A fun little detail is that he's able to hear other people's footsteps, and sometimes in his sleeps he can hear your thoughts. He's able to tell a difference between a human sound and a demon sound. Yeah, very interesting. After listening to Tanjiro's sound, Zenitsu is very trusting of Tanjiro because he doesn't care. He doesn't have malice and understands Tanjiro is carrying something precious to him. We all know what it is, but that's ironic. Irony. And decides to protect it out of his own free will. I just love how Tanjiro is portrayed as morally righteous. Inosuke is like socially ignorant, and Zenitsu is like a simp. It's not coded here. We're all simps. Zenitsu knows, like literally knows the social boundaries, but still actively breaks them for a thing. He's more of an active character than Tanjiro, while Tanjiro is getting yanked around. Boy, I just love my boy Zenitsu a lot. Zenitsu cowers whenever he hears the force and seeing a multiple dead body. Who wouldn't? Like, there is that element of fear. You don't just go charging into that place. And when he does go charging into that place, he is going because of selfish reasons. I wish it was more heroic, but let's be honest. There's no other way for him to drive it. I think he was looking out for the sister for the wrong reasons, but... And when he fights, I think he's more of a gentle giant. He doesn't actively seek out fights. He actively seeks to help others, but never actually actively seeks out to help fights. So that is why, whenever he goes unconscious and lets go of his whole desire, and we see his whole background. It's very tragic. He's the only one that has any he's like an orphan. He's like the perfect orphan. More of an orphan than Tanjiro and, like, not Inosuke, but still an orphan. Inosuke is the best orphan, but okay. Enough about orphans. Inosuke had a mentor, and the mentor's love language was basically teaching him how to defend against himself and protect others. And in his memory of doing so, he shows his true potential. And that's exactly what I love about, like, what Zenitsu. It's hidden potential waiting to be unlocked, sort of foreshadowing what the MCs are capable of in the future. And that is just perfect. That is just perfect foreshadowing and future potential. I would talk honestly more about the spider, but honestly it's just meant to be a cool battle. Sort of like a poison creeping up, sort of like a time bomb for Zenitsu to build resolve and genuinely fight demons for this legitimate sake of saving others. Instead of being like, as I mentioned, a true hero, like taking the civilians out of the way. Sometimes you're forced into a corner and you have to fight back. And that's what this spider battle was meant to represent. I think it did a good job. I mean, I'm talking mainly about Zenitsu, but I just love him as a character, bro. I mean, he's kind of underrated, but I just love him as a character. He's done just perfect portrayal. Anyway, guys, this is just me talking and rambling about Zenitsu because I just find him as a lovable, enjoyable character. I know you guys wanted more of a detail. I know the anime has stretched out all the way to the point of which... Anyway, guys, that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, share this video, like it, bell it. This is my first video for this channel in a while, and I plan to do more about this series if it does well.